Thank you, Madam Speaker. Before starting my speech, I'd like to tell my colleague, Mr. Omar, that I think we were about to teach them how to do governance as well, but I think I need to teach him about the rules and procedure as well. Before he made his speech in English, there's a rule in Rules and Procedure 241, apart from reading anything, that he had to seek permission of the Madam Speaker before making speech in English, Madam. I'd want to seek the Honourable Speaker's permission to make my speech in English.
मैंने उनको अलाउ किया, अब आप बोलें.
And I'll seek permission as well to make my speech in English.
Okay, you are allowed.
Before I state my submission about the current agenda of the House, of this adjournment motion, I'd like to briefly go through the history of National Finance Commission, Madam Speaker. It came into existence in 1951 by the government and Prime Minister Liaquat Ali Khan. And the main purpose was to work towards the decentralization and establishment of fiscal federation to promote three major points. That was equality, accountability, and cost effectiveness, and to empower the underprivileged people of all the provinces. There was a landmark official award enacted in 1974, and gives me a great pleasure to take this name in this August House, that the government and the Prime Minister and founder of Pakistan People's Party, Shahid Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, was one who produced this NFC award that produced conclusive results in strengthening the rights of provinces, and also, as you can see, the later NFC awards that came were into a complete deadlock as they came from dictators and governments. More recently, Madam Speaker, in 2010, the NFC award was a milestone by the hard work and the vision of Honourable President Asif Ali Zardari that granted due rights to the provinces and interprovincial harmony between the provinces. And this was the first NFC award that came not just with the population, but other indicating factors as well. As I would like to state that poverty elimination came as in 10.3%, population still being the highest, 82%, revenue collection 5%, inverse population density being 2.7%. Madam Speaker, this resulted and secured by the provinces was 51% by Punjab, Sindh 23.71%, KPK 14%, and Balochistan 9%. And this was only made possible with the hard work and vision of our President Asif Ali Zardari at that time. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I'd also like to briefly go through the natural resources. Natural resources are thought to be a blessing, but yet in Sindh, people feel discriminated and deprived of having these resources. As we speak, I'd like to quote the Constitution of Pakistan, Section 161A, that tells us that the net proceeds of the federal duty of the excise on natural gas levied at the wellhead and collected by the federal government and of the royalty collected by the federal government shall not form the part of federal consolidated fund and shall be paid to province in which the wellhead of gas is situated. By this, I'd like to state the figure. The gas production is above 70% by Sindh. And as we compare it to the rest of the provinces, Punjab 5%, Balochistan 22%, KPK 2%. As far as the oil production is concerned, Sindh leads by 56%, and Balochistan 25%, Punjab 1%, and KPK 18%. Despite the distinction in production of gas and oil, we still lack our NFC shares. Moving on, Madam Speaker, I'd like to state that another landmark constitutional addition made by Honourable President Asif Ali Zardari was the 18th Amendment to empower the constitutional and provincial autonomy. I'd like to say that this amendment made sure that the province's increment share from 11.5% to about 50%. And before this 18th amendment, the centre used to take about 88.5%. With this being said, I'd further like to state that Sindh is deprived of almost 90 billion rupees, Madam Speaker, as of yet and then the Sindh revenue stands about 69.2%. That's almost the 70% of the revenue. The people of Sindh wish for its due share from the NFC that would enable the provincial government to work further, giving them institutions, educational, and for health. Madam Speaker, the current federal government policy is probably in context with a quote that probably left Napoleon Bonaparte's failure, is a quote that he once said that if you want to have success in the world, promise everything and deliver nothing. So this is probably one that I feel that this federal government is going after. And describing the mindset of the current government, that is Pakistan Tehreek-e-Intiqam, I would like to say that the first horrible and uncertainty bearing 100 days of PTI and their gross negligence, there was no new distribution of resources formula formed. It's been 10 years, almost 10 years, that no discussion of reconstitution of NFC has been done. They literally want to curtail the powers granted by the 18th Amendment. And this is proved by their actions. I came across the newspaper. I had the opportunity to read this newspaper, Madam Speaker, the other day. And with your permission, I'd like to share this with the Honorable House. That there was a quote, there's a news in the papers as well that said, new NFC to slash provincial shares. And as of this, the first paragraph of the news is a cause of alarm and probably a disaster, because they are probably going to slash more shares from the province as well. The first, and then, as you see, the NFC, the new formula that they're devising is going to take even more from the other provinces as well. And they want to do this without amending the Constitution as well. That is unconstitutional, Madam Speaker. As we refer to the Constitution of Pakistan, with your permission, Madam Speaker, Section 161 says within Article 161, within the 6 months of commencing of the day hereafter, at the intervals not exceeding 5 years, the President shall constitute a National Finance Commission consisting of Minister of Finance of Federal Government, Minister of Finance of Provincial Governments, and such other persons as may be appointed by the President after consultation with Governor of the province. And it's been 10 years they haven't done so. Moving over to Article 163A. I'd like to read this out as well, Madam Speaker, with your permission. The share of the provinces in each award of National Finance Commission should not be less than the share given to the previous award. Madam Speaker, this adds further the credibility to the fact that the federal government opposes devolution of provinces, and it also tells us that they want to solidify the hegemony and impose one-party rule in this country, Madam Speaker. I'd also like to share, Madam Speaker, that they want to deprive us from the provincial autonomy, but I'd like to tell our people of Sindh that we support them. We have given our lives, our leaders have given lives, and we shall do so, and we shall not hesitate to do so for the prosperity, provincial autonomy, and the sovereignty of this nation. Slashing the shares of NFC award is a direct violation of the Constitution, Madam Speaker, and especially violating Section 163A of the Constitution. The PTI has no regard of Constitution of Pakistan and instead focuses on policies of political revenge and selective accountability. Now their policy, taken into account, is autonomy of the provinces should be curtailed. And then their policy is also to give huge government contracts to federal ministers and to their families. And this is one of their despicable agendas the federal government select has. In conclusion, it is my sincere request to approach the federal government select to ensure the provinces are given equal share and rights enumerated in the Constitution, Madam Speaker. The provincial share in NFC awards must be increased as the Constitution Section 163A suggests, but would ensure, and this would also ensure and solidify the foundation of inter-provincial harmony. But if this is not done so, and the Sindh is not given its due share, I would like to state that we reserve the right to fight for the rights and survival of the people of Sindh. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank
Pakistan Zindabad, Jiyabud.